That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm
Dominik Schiener.
Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Welcome, everyone. I wanted to give you all a quick preview of what it is like to produce a show. Ultimately, it always comes down to fucking we'll do it live, right? Because there's no time to prepare. And ultimately, I think this show has a lot of value because of its authenticity, right? Just doing free talk, just talking with team members from the foundation, talking about what's been happening during the week, and just giving you our take and especially my take on everything around IOTA and where we are heading, right? Ultimately, my job is to make the path and the journey ahead of us very clear and make it apparent of all the big things that are happening around us. So I think that's like I would say that's really the greatest part about this show. It's April 9th, right? April 28th is when the Chrysalis upgrade goes live. April 21st is when we start with the migration. So we have a little under 3 weeks left. And that's just absolutely fucking exciting if you think about it. Like, this is a moment that we've been waiting for and building for over a year now. Chrysalis, like the first part of Chrysalis went live in August of last year. And now we are here in April and we have a concrete date and everything is ready to go. So it's about damn time to get excited. I think all of you can also feel excited. I guess the market is getting excited, but there is a lot more to come. And what I really wanted to show today, by the way, this like this is absolutely beautiful. It just shows you how close Chrysalis is, how close the beautiful butterfly is, and that we're getting closer and closer and closer, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So this is another NFT. Ben is really kicking it with the NFTs. So he does a phenomenal job with the trading cards and all of that stuff. Yeah, this is also absolutely amazing. It's cool stuff. What I wanted to talk about today is basically around the migration and specifically around what Chrysalis really means for us, because I think some community members ask us sometimes what changes with Chrysalis, and for one, there's the aspect of the tech. And the bigger question that we always get is like, what new use cases get enabled with Chrysalis? And what can I build now with it? And fundamentally, it's about becoming production ready. And that is the main thing that's really, really exciting about Chrysalis, because it is something that we have been building for over a year now with lots of feedback and iterations even before that. And now we're really getting close to the stage where we are crossing this chasm. So to give you guys a sort of a rundown, every new technology basically goes through the same cycle. I think this was first introduced in the book called The Innovator's Dilemma, if I'm not wrong. If one of you guys in a channel knows better, please correct me. But every new innovation goes through the same sort of cycle, right? There's a bunch of innovators, there's a bunch of early adopters that are willing to go through the painful process of trying out new things because they're enthusiastic about it. They want to experience the new stuff. They are capable of testing it. They're capable to download the wallet and run and operate a node, for example. They want to be part of these new innovations, but also new revolutions, because they believe in it. They are tied to it philosophically. They're tied to it from an economic standpoint, right? Because they want to participate. They are willing to take the risk, and they really believe in it. I think really this is really where crypto is today. We have a bunch of visionaries, we have a bunch of enthusiasts, and we have a bunch of people that really believe in this future of decentralization, that believe in this future of IOTA, and that believe in this future of the machine economy. And the main thing that has always been holding us back is really the maturation of the entire stack, starting with the tech, right? Making sure that the protocol, the network is production ready, that is able to run reliably first and foremost, but is also able to handle the throughput of the use cases that we envision. But second of all, we also need to have this maturity in the ecosystem, where it's not just about doing crazy gambling applications, like how Bitcoin started with some of these applications, like the Satoshi dice use cases, but it really has to be more mature use cases and that really will have an impact in the world, and that will be adopted by millions of users. And I would say the entire crypto space is really right now crossing this chasm. We see it with Coinbase. Coinbase did $1.3 billion in revenue just this quarter, right? Q1 2021. And that's absolutely crazy if you think about it. A crypto company, a crypto-born company is now going on a stock exchange, is going to be listed on the stock exchange, is going to be traded on the stock exchange. And just think about the kind of new wave of people that are able to participate and that now are willing to participate in our ecosystem. And it's just absolutely exciting. So I think from an ecosystem standpoint, we're really getting there. We're really starting to mature more. We're really starting to grow more. We're seeing more people join the crypto ecosystem in a much more mature fashion, right? Pension funds are joining. Institutional investors are joining. Family offices are joining. All of them are allocating because they see crypto assets not just as a fun little token or internet money as it was toyed around with, but it's really a serious asset class. And that's really great. But what's even more great is that we have to mature on the tech side, right? The protocols, the networks need to be mature enough. And if I were to summarize, Chrysalis is really about helping us to cross this chasm, to make sure that IOTA is production ready, that IOTA is capable of handling thousands of transactions per second, and is able to handle these use cases that we envision for the mainstream market. And this is really where we are heading. After Chrysalis, the last major criticism that is remaining with the technology is the coordinator. And we have a very clear path with that. Just so you guys know, right? We have Chrysalis happening on the 28th. Then a few weeks after that, we already have Nectar. Just think about that. A few weeks after Chrysalis, we already have the launch of the first fully decentralized IOTA network that is really being empowered with incentives, being empowered with sort of like this production mindset that you can start building on top of it, and that Coordicide is real. The Coordicide event will happen, and there's no more doubt around us having a very clear path towards fully decentralizing IOTA, the clear path towards fully getting towards the mainstream market. And that's just really exciting because it just shows that this parallel strategy of doing these things at the same time, right? Making the protocol, maturing the protocol, maturing the ecosystem, and now also really building towards the future with the Coordicide solution is paying off. And we are really just getting started, I would say. Now, when it comes to the use cases, the use cases of IOTA today are already huge. If you think about it, what can you do with micropayments? What can you do with fee-less transactions, machine-to-machine payments? There's so many of these use cases that will be enabled, and there's so many of these use cases that were sort of held back because our tech wasn't ready. And with Chrysalis, we really feel confident in getting all of these big companies on board and to re-engage with many of our previous partners, simply because now we are ready. And this is like I would say this is a very fine distinction, and I don't think we're going to push it around too much. But I would say there's a distinction to be made between production ready and enterprise ready. Production ready is really the ultimate goal, where you really feel confident that you've achieved this version of the protocol that is able to take on the mainstream market. Before that, you already have this sort of definition of enterprise readiness, where you feel confident in engaging with partners, especially large companies, that can rely on your technology, that can run it in their environment and can build their use cases and build their products on top of it. And with Chrysalis, IOTA is enterprise ready, right? We feel very confident that the changes required for a DApp or for a product that is relying or that is building on top of IOTA, from Chrysalis to Coresite, is not too huge of a difference. That and is definitely a lot less than from the current IOTA network to Chrysalis. So that means that you can now start to build reliably on top of IOTA, and that is like I would say that is really huge, because we haven't been able to say that so far. It was always more where we work together with some companies on proof of concepts, right? Where it was about experimenting, where it was about exploring what the use cases should be, and just hoping that the tech eventually would catch up, would be able to handle the use case, and would be able to handle the adoption of the user base. So we're really getting there. And that's just that, like, it's really huge. Yeah. Maybe one thing to keep in mind: all of this is for layer one. Layer one is really what we ultimately need to make ready so that you can build your application on top of that. But that we can also launch modules and extensions on top that extend sort of the use cases of the core protocol. Now, there's three major extensions to the core protocol. It's digital assets, NFTs, tokenized assets, other cryptocurrencies that can launch on top of the IOTA network. There is smart contracts, and then there's streams, access, and digital identity. All of that is becoming ready as we really move forward with the implementation of Coresite. So it's not just the layer one that is getting ready, but it's all of these use cases that are also built on top that are getting ready. So it's really us moving forward with the full package. It's not just one singular entity, not one singular software piece that is getting ready, but it's really us as an entire ecosystem. We're crossing the chasm. And after Chrysalis is live, we have some very exciting stuff to work on with digital assets, launching security tokens, launching NFTs, launching DeFi assets on top of IOTA, right? All of that will be made possible after Chrysalis, after we implement digital assets first on the Go Shimmer network, and then afterwards upgrade the IOTA protocol with digital assets. And then obviously smart contracts is the biggest one of them all. And we're working on some really big stuff there behind the scenes, making sure that it is ready for larger use cases, especially when it comes to sort of this open, permissionless ecosystem, meaning that you can also launch, for example, Solidity smart contracts on top of ISCP, with the goal of really fully leveraging the feeless nature of IOTA and using IOTA as this trust anchor that can enable the interoperability between assets. So yeah, I really hope that this makes it clear how we are moving forward towards mainstream adoption, and how with Chrysalis we are on this very exciting path to cross the chasm. I think we're already seeing this right now, where IOTA is really getting this more broader I would say understanding of what it is and where we are heading, and also this sort of respect for what we are building and how we are building it. So it's really all shaping up to be the perfect storm for us to take on the market. And one aspect that is sometimes less talked about is simply the fact that IOTA itself today is in its own sort of league. We are not competing with all of the other layer ones on trying to capture as much of this crowded DeFi market as possible. Right now, what we're seeing is that all of the other DeFi protocols or DeFi targeted protocols, especially layer one protocols, right? They're just really trying to fight for more market share by launching new tokens, by launching new DEXs, by doing airdrops, by promising higher yields and all of that. And it's just a very crowded market. And I don't think that any of that is long-term sustainable. And ultimately, we are going for the much, much bigger use cases. And DeFi and all of that will be enabled as we really mature as a whole ecosystem. But our focus has always been on sort of this mainstream adoption when it comes to the machine economy, obviously, but also really the broader IoT sector and the broader, I would say, real world use cases, smart cities, mobilities, supply chain. It really allows us to stay focused on building instead of trying to rush through a DeFi dApp right now, because we are able to stay focused on getting the core right and not having to compete in this sort of marginal business that is DeFi right now. And I would say that's something that really has to be appreciated in where we stand and how we really have a very exciting strategy and a very exciting and clear path ahead of us. And we also see this with sort of the acceptance of IOTA in more mainstream media. One exciting article that we got this week is in the Wall Street Journal. And this, I would say this is probably one of the biggest articles that we've gotten so far. Like, we've been in Reuters and we've been in TechCrunch and Business Insiders, but I really appreciate this article. It basically talks about the future of everything. It's like a series that is done by the Wall Street Journal, and they specifically talk about how machines will start to communicate with each other, how machines will actually start to trade with each other, and how IOTA is playing a role in that. So if you haven't read it yet, I can highly encourage you to read it. It basically talks about how as we move forward, we become a standard for machines to pay each other. And we really have to appreciate this this image here. It looks really funny because basically the way that I interpret it is there's a 3D printer, and the robot is paying the machine to print its components. And that's the machine economy. And this is probably going to be an IOTA token, when one machine pays another machine per unit of execution. So that's very exciting. We're moving forward. We're becoming production ready. We stay focused and we execute. I think that's the most important thing to do. And just so you guys have a rough overview of really what it means to make layer one production ready. I just always like to reiterate and repeat things on this show, because these things cannot be said enough. Making layer one production ready, having a layer one that is feeless, having a layer one that is really one of the most decentralized protocols out there, with no miners taking over control, with no energy being wasted, and obviously with no transaction fees. That in and of itself is so huge. But on top of that, we have this entire ecosystem of different applications, of different modules and extensions. And then on top of that, smart contracts, right? It's really all coming together. And Chrysalis is scheduled for the 28th. And then after Chrysalis, a few weeks afterwards, we're definitely going to announce a date probably as well for that, is the launch of the Nectar network. And Nectar, as all of you know, is our incentivized testnet for Corticide. It means that we are at a stage where the Corticide solution is feature complete, where we feel confident in giving out rewards for participating in the network, for trying to break it, and where we feel confident that we have a solution that is this future decentralized version of IOTA, that is our production ready protocol, and where we have removed the last missing piece, which is the coordinator. So that's really exciting. One other thing, why Chrysalis is so important, and that's something where Steve Ballmer really got very enthusiastic. I wait, let me actually show it to you. Oh, it doesn't actually work. I wonder when this was. I guess this was in, oh, there's no comment. Must have been like 98 or so. But developers, right? Developers, that's why we are doing Chrysalis as well. Just to look at this image, anybody who is not a developer immediately understands just how much simpler Chrysalis is in terms of developers' perspective. Not only is Chrysalis really us moving towards production readiness, is not really just us removing trinary, us removing Wintonit's one-time signatures, us moving towards a really more hardened protocol, but is also really the developer experience getting so much better. And this is just one example of what it means to select a node in your code. And there's another example with what it means to do proof of work in Chrysalis. Can I actually zoom in more? Yeah. All right, so you move from 50 lines to 16 lines. So there's really orders of magnitude simpler, more efficient, and also more scalable. I hope that we will be able to do a proper stress test over the next 2 weeks, hopefully, because I think these stress tests are really valuable so that we can also showcase the potential. But obviously, right now, the most important thing is that everything is ready and that we are fully prepared. But this is this is really important to keep in mind. For developers, IOTA is getting enterprise ready. You can start building on IOTA, and everybody who's listening right now and who is a developer, I can really encourage you to read our documentation, to really start to engage in the community and to start building. I think it's such a missed opportunity to not start building on IOTA right now. What's super exciting about IOTA is because we are moving towards production readiness, because we have such an amazing community and such a big ecosystem, it's a huge unmissed potential and missed opportunities. Sorry, missed opportunities if you're not building a dApp on IOTA right now. We are becoming production ready. We are one of the largest ecosystems out there. We are one of the largest communities. And launching a dApp in IOTA today, you will absolutely get thousands of users. And this is really the future of decentralization. So if you're a developer and you need ideas, just ask in the community. If you have ideas, just share them in the community. If you need support, just reach out to us or ask in the community. We are here to help, and all of us are very reachable everywhere. And obviously, if you want support, if you want to apply to the Ecosystem Development Fund, just reach out to us. We are really here to support all of you. And over the next few weeks, we really want to scale up all of the development around the IOTA Foundation, so that all of you are really empowered to build the ecosystem even more with us. And we are just simply here to support all of you in making this possible. So there's amazing startup opportunities. Keep that in mind and start building. A last big point around that is really the token migration itself. And I hope that all of you don't get worried about it, because there is time. It's very straightforward, and it's all being handled. All the heavy lifting is going to be done by the Firefly wallet, is going to be done by the node. So there's nothing to worry about. And we are going to provide more guides and more tutorials, YouTube videos from the official IOTA channel. So make sure to only watch those, to really only click on links that are really from the official blog, because things can go wrong if you download the wrong software, if you follow the advice of the wrong people. Because at the end of the day, this is crypto, right? But the migration will start on the 21st. So I think it's a little over 2 weeks. And so a little less than 2 weeks. So we're really, really getting prepared, and we will provide you guys with the right guidance on how the token migration will work. One major point is around the tokens on exchanges. And this is where I want to quickly mention a few things. When it comes to the support of exchanges, I think right now we have about 4 of them that have, 4 of the largest, that are working on integration, that are working on the upgrade to Chrysalis. And basically what that means is that right now we are coordinating with those exchanges around the public communication when it comes to Chrysalis, when it comes to the upgrade, when it comes to their support to the upgrade. And that means that those exchanges will be able to accept deposits and withdrawals after the go live. One of them that has already announced their support is Bitpanda. So kudos to them for doing that. And the other ones we're going to announce soon. That means that all of you that have tokens on those exchanges, you do not have to worry about anything. And also, if your tokens are in other exchanges, your tokens are not going to disappear, right? We're right now coordinating the upgrade with all the exchanges, and we make sure that everything is running smoothly for them, and that they are able to support the upgrade either on the 28th or a little bit afterwards. So it's all coming together, and if you have your tokens on exchanges, ultimately you don't have to worry about much, because we are assisting them in the transition, and they are also doing the transition themselves for all of their users, basically moving the cold storage and the hot wallets to the new Chrysalis network. And when it comes to the announcements, I hope that we will be able to make them over the next week, so that all of you also have a full overview of which exchange is able to support Chrysalis on the go day on the 28th, and which exchange is actually doing it shortly afterwards. Some of them really have busy schedules, and they're not able to support it on the same day, but they are fully aware of the upgrade. All exchanges are fully aware of the upgrade, and we are interacting with them directly. So there's nothing to worry about. So yeah, that's good. And if you have your tokens on Trinity or on a Ledger Nano, again, we have all the tutorials. We'll provide the tutorials, and we'll provide you with the right guidance on what there is to do. What's up with those smileys in the channel? Another very interesting topic, and this is something super interesting, actually. Let me actually open this up. Basically, what happened in 2018 is that a hacker was able to steal around 10 million euros worth of IOTA tokens. What they set up, and this is related to the Chrysalis upgrade right now, is they set up basically a fake website for you to generate your seed in, basically generating your password. And after a while, the hacker took all the seeds, took all the money, and tried to run away with it. And in total, this was around 10 million euros, and this happened in 2019, so a little over 2 years ago. It's crazy how quickly time flies. The hacker was actually arrested, which was pretty interesting. And for us as a foundation, it was quite surreal. Working with the police and working with Europol, I guess, who were able to track him down. And what happened after that is the police tried to recover the funds, and I think the funds are right now in the custody of the police. And the hacker, the perpetrator, the fraudster, I don't know what we should call him, is now in custody by the police and is facing trial in the UK. And that means that this is really coming to an end. And it's quite a positive story in that regard, because we were able to get justice, which you rarely get if you think about it. Billions of dollars get stolen every year in crypto. And if you think about the smart contracts that get hacked in Ethereum, or if you think about the Bitcoin seeds that get stolen because of scams, they rarely get caught. And so we were able to not we, but the police were able to catch this guy, and ultimately he will face justice. And what we are doing right now is we are also working together with the police to try and figure out how these funds will be distributed. And that's a pretty nice story, because now all of those people will be able to get their money back. Most of them will be able. I think 10 million, roughly 10 million. Mostly everything has been recovered. Let's put it that way, of the funds. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to Koen from the advisory board. He's really done an excellent job in really coordinating this, speaking with the police, and also doing this sort of forensic analysis to help catch the guy, and also provide advice to the police, because IOTA crypto is new to many police officers, even those that are in the cybercrime units. So you have to explain to them what a bundle is, how to track it on the Explorer. So Koen really masterfully managed that, and was sort of the interface between us and the police, and ultimately really helped and played the key role in recovering those funds and helping to catch the perpetrator. So if we ever have an IOTA movie, we probably have to make it a 10-part series, where we should also talk about this this case for like 60 minutes and do like an episode on it, and do like a heist. So it will be quite an action-packed Netflix series. And my last point for today is cellular automata, right? It's the new consensus approaches that we are looking at post Courtiside. The way that we look at Courtiside, it's an event, right? We upgrade the IOTA protocol to this fully decentralized version of it, where we are confident that it is production ready, that it is secure, because of all the peer review and because of all the research that was really invested into it, and where we are able to take on the market, where we're able to take on the sort of mainstream adoption. Now, what we're utilizing in the first Courtiside solution is FPC, fast probabilistic consensus. What we are also doing at the same time right now is we're looking at different consensus approaches, because there's very different ones for different use cases and for different environments, maybe for a sharding environment in the future. So we as a foundation, our role is to explore these different consensus approaches and to figure out which one works and which one doesn't. One of those that we are exploring is multiverse. Another one is CA. And I think this type of research is super valuable for us at the IOTA Foundation, but is also super valuable for the entire crypto space. And I think next to Cardano, IOTA is definitely one of the biggest and one of the most reputable research entities in this space, because we do produce a lot of research, and we really specialize in DAX, and we have a lot of peer-reviewed papers that are really there to benefit the broader ecosystem. So I'm really proud that we are sort of taking this role of not just us trying to make IOTA production ready, but about us really helping to mature the entire crypto space with the research that we're doing and with the expertise that and the learnings that we are able to share with others. So I'm very sure that many of the solutions that we have built in the Chrysalis solution, whether it's Mana, whether it's our consensus algorithms, whether it's our data sharding solution in the future, those will be made available to the broader ecosystem. And that's what this is all about, right? We are the experts. We're confident in IOTA. We're confident in the future that we are building, and others should be able to benefit from it as well. Because through that, we really build, for one, this reputation in the market, but also we are able to expand. And I also think that it will create a sort of environment where IOTA is really one of the leaders in this space, not just from a progress perspective, but also market cap and so on. So it's all moving forward. And I think the main conclusion of CA is that it is less secure than we would have thought. And ultimately, I don't think that we are going to proceed with exploring it further. But nonetheless, it's a very fascinating solution that should be looked at more closely. There's going to be a lot more of these papers and of this research that we're going to publish over the next few months, right? Because our team Chrysalis is solved from a theoretical standpoint. Now it's really about implementing it. And that also means that we can look beyond that. We can work on sharding. We can work on new consensus approaches, and we can really build even more exciting stuff. So that's really great. So I hope all of you have a better understanding of what's going on right now, and also how we as IOTA are really focused on crossing the chasm, and how we have a very concrete approach and very concrete strategy, very concrete path to cross the chasm actually, and not be stuck in these marginal games that others are playing right now. But we stay focused on building. We stay really focused on making on the fundamentals, and we stay focused on staying true to our values. Everything else will follow us as we progress, as we mature even further, and as we really hit the mainstream market. For me, IOTA is really one of the main projects in this space, and I'm very confident in this future that we are building and in this future that we are enabling with IOTA. So for one, I'm very excited to have all of you partake in that and really have all of you really enable this future. And I can just really tell you, like, the next few months will be absolutely amazing in terms of the tangible adoption that you will be able to feel, where you can utilize IOTA in a completely different way, in completely different use cases, and completely different ecosystems, and where it really becomes apparent that IOTA is more than just a protocol. IOTA is really a new technology. It's really a new ecosystem that is going to fundamentally change the market, and is going to fundamentally change the adoption of distributed ledgers. We have a very concrete vision. We are enabling and we are building the machine economy. So let's move forward with that. Without further ado, just so you all know, next week we have different schedules for the AMA and for the talk. We're going to do the AMA on Monday, and we're going to do the IOTA talk on Thursday, 6 p.m. CEST. I think that's 1 or 2 p.m. EST. I think it's more like 1 p.m. EST. And I hope that all of you will have a great weekend ahead of you. Don't look at the charts too much. Focus on building, and see you guys next time. Bye-bye.